Hi there, I'm back again. It's Sunday afternoon and I've now set up um, the transfer plate for the single point screw cutting um, accessory on the Taig Lathe, and I'm using a boring head that I built from model engineer many years ago when I was working, and as you can see everything is ground, so at that time I had access to grinding machines and so forth, and I have a 3/8/20 lead screw in the boring head, and I've dialed in the plate with a nice little unit that I built after I purchased a double-faced gem dial indicator off of eBay. So I decided to make up this holder for zeroing in or dialing in holes and such things, and it's just a nice size. The dial indicator is not large, so it works very well. So that's what I used to dial in the half-inch holder I'd already reamed in this end. Let's put this back. So now I'm using the boring head. This is the first time I've used it on the small Taig mill. I just bought a adapter from A to Z and made up oh god, my mind is going, excuse me. Anyway, it screws onto this spigot here and is attached to the thread. While we're talking about boring heads, here is another boring head that I built. It's not exactly finished yet, but it may be locked up. But as you turn the top part, where are we? As you turn that top part, there's an engraving all the way round, and that moves the boring tool in and out, and that's I think that's the lead screw in that, which moves the tool, is I think it's a 1/4 40. I'm not exactly sure. So there's not a large amount of adjustment. I think probably maybe 1/2 inch, but it's a nice little unit, and it works well. It works well on the Taig mill. It's not a great big cumbersome thing, and it's quite a unique kind of boring head. There are manufactured heads like this, I'm sure, but this, I got the plans out of the Model Engineer magazine many years ago, so it works very well. So that's another one that I have. So anyway, getting back to boring, let's see if I can. I bought one of these off of Banggood England, I believe, but it's Chinese stuff. I think it was only about $15, but it tells you what the speed or RPM of the spindles are running at, and it saves a lot of effort in assembling something here on the machine. It's just handy to give you an idea of what kind of RPM you got. So yes, I'll switch it on. I started boring, but I stopped it to start the video, and we'll see what kind of an RPM I have. It's quite possible that the machine may stall because of the torque that's required, but I'm assuming that it's gonna work okay. So let's see what we've got. $390 RPM. So that's what it's running at. Okay, so I'll start. So I'll start feeding down now, and I'll get a little bit of juice. And see how it goes. This is my first cut, so I'm not exactly sure how much it's taken off, but I can soon check when I've bored through. I know that the hole was at ½ inch. Nice and quiet. Seems to be working okay, cutting okay. The tool bit is of Indian manufacture. It's a Cobalt. And it's just a standard boring, flat bottom boring tool. I had to machine the shank down to fit the boring head. So there we go, we're almost through. Pretty sure that I've done quite a bit of boring over the years. When I was working, I did 3 years of jig boring for tooling. So we'll see what that size is. Where is my vernier? This is only going to be a rough reading because I can't really get it in there. It says 0.504. That was more than 4th hour. So. Yeah, I can't measure it. It's that's the thing with verniers. Let's see what we've got here. So that's let's see if this will give me a better. Of course, if I was on a jig borer, a real jig borer, then of course I would move the table away and measure and then go back, because the boring machines are so accurate that you have the correct readout and accuracy. But with this this little Taig. It doesn't have, it's not that, I'm just using the, I guess I could do, but it's, I don't want to, let's see if we can get something here. Okay. Now where's my micrometer? There it is. You know, I just want to say that if you can find a used micrometer that's been looked after, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. This micrometer doesn't even have carbide. It's a Moore and Wright, and I got that probably, where are we? I got that around 1968, even before that, probably 64, and it's still accurate. So there are good stuff out there if you want to buy a quality tool that's been used. If it's been used delicately by somebody with experience, then it's a good purchase. So that's reading 18th thou, so that's a 9th thou cut. So at least I know where I am now, and let's see now, that's 625. The 625 is not exactly critical. 17, 20, it's 100th thou, at least 100th thou. So I have a little locking screw there, and I don't exactly know each index will be 10th thou, because it's a 40 thou, a 40 pitch thread. So yeah, so 1, 2, we'll go 3, 30, and see what that does. This is the first time I've used it, and I haven't used it for years, so I've got to find out exactly what the indexing is doing. Okay. I hope I've turned it the right way. Probably not. So that looks like about a 30th thou. I could probably go a bit faster on the RPM, but it's such a heavy boring head that it might start to set off some I'm going to wind it up. Yeah, see, it's making a bit of a vibration there, judder. Okay, let's see if I can get something. Of course, this is not perfect, but yeah, so that's 556. So that was a 30 thou cut. 5660. Take another 30. One, two, three. I'll take it off when I've finished, and I'll show you the underneath of the unit. Now, if I put a 0, okay. I'm glad I kept this boring head. I made the boring head for a larger milling machine, what they call the baby mill that came from Busy Bee up here in Canada, and I made it for a Drummond M-type lathe, and also for the Busy Bee milling machine, which was a larger bench mill. And I thought about passing it on with when I got rid of the mill and the lathe, but I'm glad I kept it now, because it is a nice, it's a nice boring head. Let's get this. There we go. When I've noticed that some of the machinists, they put the telescopic gauge in and they just pull it out, and we all have our own ways of doing things, but my way of doing it is that as I'm pulling it up to the vertical, I'm also just lightly moving it from side to side, so that it kind of finds, as you're coming up, it finds the actual bore size, and there's no fear of it giving a false reading. I mean, that's just a quirk of mine, so there's nothing wrong with what the other people do. They get the same results. It's just that we all have little quirks about what we think is good. And that's okay. That's 580. So I've got another 45 thou to take out. So I'm assuming that I'm taking 30 thou out at each pass. So this video may get boring for some people. They get fed up with watching. But this is the only way I know how to do it. That's 1, 2, 3. Because I just don't have the knack of learning a lot of things now. As far as editing is concerned, if it doesn't come easy for me, I don't bother. So I'm sure some people get bored. I mean, all you're doing is seeing the same thing over and over again in a half-hour program or however long it takes. But I figure there's not much I can do about it unless I learn how to edit. If there was a course taking place somewhere close by, I'm right out in the sticks here in central Alberta, and I find that travelling is undesirable for me. Driving, I've got fed up with driving, and so I stay home as much as possible. If there was a course in this little town here that I could go to learn how to edit, I would do, but if it means I've got to travel 50 kilometres, 100 kilometres round trip, I'm really just not interested. I'd sooner be here making something. That's that. So we're almost there. I think probably 15 thou, 20 thou maybe. I haven't bothered to clean the bore out. I mean, if it was really important, then before using the telescope, I would wipe the bore out and be more careful. But it doesn't matter, because all I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap into a aluminium rod, 607, 608. So yeah, I'm just going to make a die setup, make it a standard size 580D, and run the tap through that I need for the nut size. So, you know, it's not that important. Let's see how that goes. Should be touching just about now. Yeah. Jollop. Getting a nice finish. Because normally if I was doing a job, I would do a spring cut, and I probably will do a spring cut. So, come on, where are you? My eyesight is getting worse. What did I do with it? Oh, here. Oh. Yeah, that's good. That is good, right on. Other than 1 thou. It's 1 thou oversized. So I'm going to leave that now. So, okay, oh, I'll take this off and show you how it's made.